yes, the PlayStation Plus section. By now you're probably already aware of the state of the PS monthly games, but I still want to talk about it. Basically, PS monthly games are like a lucky dip, where you hope for that shiny new car, but all you get is a pair of socks and a rusty spoon. Essentially, the generous overlords at Sony decided to bless us with either the most back-alley games that you've never heard of, or games which died back in a Stone Age. So I handpicked some of the best and worst games I could find to rate them, so you don't have to. Kicking this off, let's talk about the most recent PS Plus game, Quidditch Champions. You know how everyone has been asking for a Quidditch game for years? Yeah, me neither. Honestly, I would have just preferred this to be a minigame inside of an actual Harry Potter title, but that's just my opinion. Put simply, you have 4 different classes. The Strikers, the Keepers, the Meat Beaters, and this. It takes a while to get used to this game. I mean, the tutorial alone is over 30 minutes long. But once you understand the ropes, or brooms, Quidditch Champions is actually decently fun. Everyone out here is trying to be Harry Potter. But rather than becoming the boy who lived, you feel more like the boy who can't drive.
I already forgot how to move between poles!
You'll have more luck trying to teach a goblin chess than figuring out these controls. I don't know if it's just me and my lobotomized brain, but it took me ages to understand the basic fucking feature of this game. And when I did, my aim was still shit. I don't have much to say here really, it's a decently okay game, I just think it shouldn't have been a standalone game. Also, there's no customs. 5 out of 10 bludgers. Next on my hit list is Yakuza Like a Dragon, and oh my god, I wouldn't wish this game on my worst enemy. I started off as this guy, Ichiban Kasuga, a Yakuza member with a heart of gold and somehow still employed. Over time, the cracks started to show in this game.
Why does bro try to take a shit after each fight?
I'll save you your time by just explaining the general formula. Run a marathon, fight a hobo. Watch a cutscene, run again. Fight another hobo. Watch a cutscene, run again. Run here, fight a hobo. I didn't even know how I made it as far as I did. This game is mind-numbingly boring, but somehow this shit has crazy reviews. There's so many cutscenes you'll feel like you're watching a low-budget film with the occasional fight to wake you up from your hypnotized state, where all you have to do is spam square and send any fuck that fights you into the emergency room. You know them captures you get to prove you're human? That is what it's like playing this game. 2 dead hobos out of 10. Sony decides to actually bless us with a good title every now and then, but it's about as rare as a COD lobby without slurs. The game I'm referring to here is Killing Floor 2. For those who don't know, why? It's basically just round-based zombies, kind of like COD, but with a boss at the end instead of doing objectives. It's a really fun game with a metric fuck ton of content. Just look at all these different maps. And there's a whole bunch of different classes. It's like D&D did a crossover with Doom. It's great fun in multiplayer, but you somehow will always end up with that one player that thinks running at a horde of enemies with a melee weapon is a good idea. Spoiler alert, it's not. 9 out of 10 war crimes. I've never been a big fan of the Fallout games, but when PlayStation decides to give me a spicy new game for free, I figured, why the hell not? Because it sucks. That's why. You start off in Vault 76, where the first thing you see is Heaven's Gate staring back at you. Just kidding, your character has actually been inside this vault for several years and is stepping out into the real world for the first time. Or something. I'm sure there is a story here somewhere, but it's just hidden underneath fetch quests and boredom. So instead, I got dressed.
I'm so pretty!
And greeted the locals. I think one of my biggest problems is the lack of target practice. You expect large hordes of mutants and zombies, but instead of a monster mash, it's more like a monster hiatus. So when you think about it, the game really can't blame me for shooting civilians. 4 out of 10 dead innocents. Okay, I'm gonna need to be real with you guys. Battlefield 2042 isn't that bad. Now hold on a minute. Before you grab the pitchforks and rotten tomatoes, hear me out. I may not have a clue what's going on half of the time, but the gameplay wasn't that bad. I won't say the game is good. Fuck no. I mean, it's as if it was made with nothing but hopes, dreams, and a sprinkle of bullshit. But overall, I had a decent level of fun. I feel like the massive maps are just overhated. It's really fun to me to just run around with a sniper, picking off random people, and then having a standoff with a rocket launcher. I reckon I'd definitely like this game a lot more if my ping wasn't 800. I felt like a drunk person trying to do a sobriety test. It's impossible to play, but overall I'd give this game 4 dead campers out of 10. Hunters Arena Legends. Let me break it down for you. Imagine Apex Legends, but with swords instead of guns. It's that simple. It's hard for me to accurately review this because the game only let me play 2 matches, most likely due to its player count being so low. I'm not sure what this trend is with games having a population of fucking 3. I mean, it was the same when I played Radical Fighters, only this time, after playing 2 games, matchmaking just stopped working. In my headcanon, the other 2 people just gave up after I beat them. It's safe to say this game is deader than Disco, and yet somehow still able to outlive Concord. Huh. It's not an awful game, incredibly mixed. Because on one side, I love the concept, but on the other side, there is more people playing with a stick and hoop. I give it 3 points. 1 for each player. Stay with me now, this list gets better, I promise. The next game I'm referring to is Sifu. Not the midget, but the old guy. You start off in a porn star studio apartment where dreams go to die and kung fu to thrive. That comes with this neat little tree to level up your skills. There's only 5 missions, which kinda sucks, but it makes up for it with the combat and level of detail. The game uses a really cool feature which I've actually never seen before, and that's the ability to come back alive. Now I know what you're thinking, every game does this, but not like Sifu. Every time you die, you pick up where you left off, but this time, 1 year older. I'm not sure what happens when you use up all your years, and I don't intend to find out. The only bad thing I have to say about Sifu is that I did have to repeat the first mission because of a bug. Aside from that, this game is pretty peak. Good job, Sony. 8 out of 10 shattered skulls. Now this is one of them hidden gems Sony serves up on a platter. Only that platter is filled with lies! Tales of Iron was decently okay at first. I was prepared to part ways with a solid 5 whole points. However, this game is unforgivingly unfair, made apparent by my inability to kill the first boss. Yeah, that guy you're watching whoop my ass is the first boss after the tutorial. Now, hear me out, I rolled, I jumped, I parried, and I blocked. Nothing I did seemed to work. And I'm not the patient type to just stab something once and run away. The overall combat in this game is just irritating, and for some reason to parry, you press L2 and R2 at the same time. Call me shit, I don't care. But the controls of this game are just awful. If you know how to kill this guy, please let me know. But for now, I'm gonna let him live to see another day. Negative 10 rats. Now before I go on to the last game, I have an apology to make. In my previous video, I forgot to mention a game, and I am sorry. So to make it up to all the loyal fans out there, here's Deep Rock Galactic. Rock and Stone! You all already know this game by now, so I won't waste your time. Instead, I'll just share my experience as a beginner. And like a true dwarf, the first thing I did was dig a hole. The problem was, while in my glory hole, nope, not doing that. While in my cave, my teammates were fighting for their lives, which made for some pretty interesting background noise.
There's so many!
Short King Simulator has to be one of my favourite games to play with friends, until you all turn against each other. In all seriousness, I had a lot of fun playing this game. I'll give it 10 mollies out of 10. Having played all these games, I can confidently say PlayStation monthly games aren't actually as bad as people say they are. Sure, most of them will make you question why you still pay for this dogshit service, but once in a blue moon, when we've been very good little gamers, Sony will actually grace us with a fun game. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and any sort of feedback to support this small lonely channel will be greatly appreciated. Bye bye!
Rock and Stone forever!